This is one of France's largest slums. It's dangerous. No, did you get stabbed? Well, yeah. Oh yeah, alright, okay.
That's where our attack occurred after Lola's memorial.
We're all Antifa. Well, maybe not. You get it? Maybe not, even after diversity. Well, because in the end, we all see the same thing with our eyes, our senses, but we don't all interpret it the same way.
It's an Antifa delusion. I see, that's it. Even on Sunday morning, he was with his girl. He was just chilling. He could return right there.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, I know who it is.
Oh, what's his name? And so what does he do? Him?
He's an Antifa leader in Nantes. I think we identified him during the attack. We'll need to show the photos since we have them. He's quiet but very aggressive. We saw him there, shouting in the street. We were still very lucky today.
Yeah, he shouted, "Clown."
Yeah, but very...
Brave, you know? There you go. He started yelling from 50 meters away. Yeah, that's...
But by the time it registers, I think...
Yeah, by the time it registers, yeah, maybe, yeah. We'll stay cautious about who's behind us. That's 2 warnings this Sunday morning. Honestly, I didn't expect that.
Yes, of course. That means that even though it's Sunday morning, there's no rest for them. The hunt for fascists is on. Well, and now here we are at Commerce. So the central square of Nantes, yes, the square, so...
This is where all Nantes buses and trams cross. It's the city's central point, like the Châtelet, and it becomes dangerous at night. Yeah, that's it. You seem even more worried now.
Sort of. Usually when something happens, there are calls. There's always... Yeah, they always try to find us afterward. There's always a possibility of an exchange, and we know that. I mean, even though there were trials, even though they immediately made themselves known, well, they defended themselves, whether it was through the courts or through the city. So they can attack anyone, anytime, without consequences. The proof is this man, Mr. Nocrisio, who is extremely well known in the Nantes Antifa scene. I bet you anything that right now, they're going to be looking for us all day.
It won't take them long to find us. We're here, right in the center of Nantes, of course.
We're here, we're filming reality right now. For a Sunday morning, it's actually pretty nice, and we've got the sun too. And the riot police, they're stationed over there. You should know that's one of the biggest drug spots in Nantes. Right in front of us, and also in the back behind the McDonald's. It's also a place where you could say people of bad company hang around. Being here at night, whether you're a woman or a man, isn't safe or a good place to live.
Because right now, what I see is still a certain calm that reigns in the street.
Yes, right now Nantes is peaceful and calm. It's nice to see the city like this. It's rare.
A Kalki hello, miss. I'm reporting on Nantes. How are things there? Tell me.
It's going well. It depends on the days and the time, honestly, but overall it's going well.
The days and the time still.
Yeah, well, yes, of course, but I think it's the same everywhere right now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Has something ever happened to you?
Yeah, well, of course, but I would say that's normal. But, you know, being followed, being approached, things like that. Oh, yeah.
Even being followed, yeah. Oh, yeah, right. So, do you take precautions when you go out at night? Yes.
Yeah, well, I think these are things everyone should do, but yeah, we never go out alone, always with good company, in safer places. Let's say, wow.
What an atmosphere. I mean, it shouldn't be like this.
No, it doesn't really make you want to, but honestly, in the middle of the day, on a Sunday like this, it's nice to take a walk. Yeah, of course.
It's still extraordinary. You've only known this, you're young, but this isn't how it should be. It's not normal for a young girl like you to take precautions at night. France used to be peaceful. You could go out safely.
Well, I don't know. Besides, I'm not from here originally, so it's really only since I've been here that I realize it's like this. But, okay, unfortunately, that's how it is.
But take care of yourself.
Thank you very much. You too. Have a nice day.
Goodbye, incredible. Honestly, it's really, I'm taking it in. It's just, I'm making French-style carrots, just extracting and watching. Oh yeah, but here it's true. This is real.
Here it's real, a good life. We walk around peacefully. But you can ask any woman in Nantes. Of course she's been assaulted. Of course she's already been harassed. She said it herself, but who hasn't been assaulted in Nantes? She says it casually, like it's normal and just part of living here. It's all we've ever known, and even as a man, it's the same, right? For us, we're not sexualized, but it's immediately violence. Yeah.
The cigarette, the thing, the looks.
Of course, that's it. You know, it's complicated to deal with, and then there's always that pressure. That is, once you've experienced it, well, you're always wary, you always look over your shoulder, you never live peacefully, and you're never at ease. Every time on a Sunday morning you might think you can let your guard down, but even for us, as we saw during our morning walk, it's not that simple. That's the National Police Station. We're wondering if it's closed.
Is it open or closed?
That's right, and it's been barricaded for years because protests passed through here. And so actually we ended up with a police station really close to the center. So now Commerce is just about 50 meters away, which is really, really good with no police presence. And now today we see it's completely closed.
It's closed. You can see there's no one there.
No, right now, obviously.
There's no one inside.
Well, everything is closed. Everything is even run down. There.
Yeah, it's abandoned. There's really nothing there.
We used to have a police station in central Nantes, which likely made people feel safer with faster police response. Not anymore, even as insecurity and assaults increase. But still, we're not reopening police stations, we're not going to keep developing the city's security. No, we're doing exactly the opposite.
Why did they close it? Maybe they put a police station somewhere else.
Probably, but anyway, I don't see any in the central area now.
Okay, so we just had lunch. It was actually really good. And the waiter who recognized me told us he'd been assaulted 22 times.
22 times, yes, that's what he said, in the course of his work and around his workplace, knowing that it's right in the center of Nantes. And honestly, his story really struck us. And we're all the more surprised, even if we're hardly surprised by the story. He said it happened 22 times in 3 years.
He told us he lived in Marseille for 2 years and was attacked 0 times in Marseille.
That's right, meaning Marseille. We all have the image of a completely run-down city. But in the end, in Nantes, you could even say in downtown Nantes, it's more dangerous than in Marseille. Yes, 22 times there are complaints, there's that, but in the end, it's still the same thing.
Of course.
And he
told us that he had his nose broken, that he had
to undergo surgery. It was quite a powerful testimony between 2 courses being served, and honestly we were a bit shocked, but yes, that's how it is, and that's the daily life of shopkeepers in Nantes. If their shops aren't burned or destroyed during protests, actually, their employees go out, get assaulted, and suffer just like everyone else. All the insecurity in the Nantes area.
Compared to the earlier Antifa, the leader in Nantes, it should be mentioned that there is someone well known here in Nantes, associated with La France Insoumise and the entire far left in Nantes, and who was
Yes, indeed, it was quite a significant story. I don't know if you know him, but it was the Pierre-Alain Cotinot case. It really caused a lot of noise here in the Nantes area and even in France. And that means he was a man who was extremely close to the Nantes Antifa circles, who was officially a member of La France Insoumise. And this man, what did he do in his spare time? He would go into basements to boire babies who were also disabled to film it, and even invite people who were close to him to take part in this macabre event. That means it happened multiple times, everyone knew, and it was an open secret on their side. Yet, there was total silence. Today, no one talks about him, and those people avoid mentioning him entirely. They seem embarrassed, and when asked for a comment, especially since they covered for him, they say nothing. There were incidents, and they covered up Pierre-Alain Cotinot's actions, maybe to avoid raising suspicion. But in the end, he was caught by the police and is now a convicted criminal. It's terrible, especially since it involved children, sometimes even disabled children.
Who target disabled children for their own purposes.
It's truly a crime against humanity and children. And he was close to all those people in that whole movement. It's not even that they're ashamed, it's that they don't even want to talk about it.
It's good to mention it because they themselves constantly bring us back to Hitler, to Mussolini, in an imaginary way.
It's entirely made up.
In reality, in the non-fantasy, there's sea sail. In fact, with them,
it's all imagined, but when you look at them, things change once you open the door a bit. I don't want to take that step because before criticizing others, you should clean up your own house. With this story, the issue is right in front of us. Here, there's no fantasy, just plain reality.
So, where are we now then?
And now we're changing places. We're going to take a little tour around the neighborhoods of Nantes and especially the slums. You should know that in Nantes, we have one of the biggest slums in France, maybe even in Europe, I think. You should know that the Prairie de Mauve slum, which is next to the dump of the same name, is a slum where there are thousands of people. And they're going to be rehoused at the government's expense, obviously, starting in 2031 at the latest. And in their place, they're going to build eco-pastures, I think. Again, there's a clear disconnect from the politicians. So they're going to rehouse, of course, these people who live in the biggest shantytown in France. What's more, there are obviously other small shantytowns all around as well. Around the Nantes Ring Road and near the train station, the outskirts of Nantes can sometimes resemble shantytowns. It almost feels like being in a third world country.
I really like what I'm seeing here.
Except here, we're heading towards one of the biggest shantytowns in France.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
That's it, the Mauve Prairie hub. You see the waste center and everything.
Yes?
So actually it's behind.
Okay, all right.
It's better here. You saw the denial. They put up new barriers recently. Before we could go there.
Yes, they put that up to block our view, that's all. And basically behind there, there's a shantytown. Well, there is...
A shantytown with thousands of people is visible.
Crazy, right?
We're going to try, you see, there's a hole.
Well, we'll go in there.
Yeah, we keep the car at the entrance. You go up, you make a rush, you leave.
Yeah, we just get attacked and torn apart, right?
I have a friend who was supposed to cross it. He worked on the construction site. He crossed it the first day in a truck at 15 kilometers an hour because he was being careful. There were kids and everything. He did it. His truck was attacked and pelted with stones, so he sped through at 70 km/h.
That is, they threw stones at him.
They threw stones at the truck, even though the driver was just doing his job. It's crazy.
It's still about these barriers, you know?
But that's recent. It surprised me. It's been, I don't know, a little while since I last passed by there.
Stay there. Go straight ahead. We won't start, and you don't need to reverse. Okay, it's good. Let's go. We'll go see what's going on, but it's really going to be a quick look because apparently it's dangerous. So here we have one of the biggest slums in France, maybe even in Europe. It's rough. Look at all the stuff lying on the ground. Mattresses, garbage. Honestly, it's dangerous. Get ready to run. Oh yeah, okay, I see. She saw us. Well, yeah, it's a slum. It looks really, really big. It's dirty, like a slum can be. A lot of garbage. Are we moving forward or not? I really don't know if it's a slum.
I've never set foot in there, but now, honestly, I think we're messing up.
It's a slum. There's a car coming, let's move over a bit. Yeah, better not tempt fate. The thing is, the problem is we don't know. We don't know what we can or can't do, so it's complicated, you know? We'll stop here, that's wiser. Well, yeah, I see that you have a shantytown here, which is huge and almost institutionalized, you know? They even put up a separation wall. Okay, and what are the authorities doing? Strange, all of this? All right, let's keep going. But the wall is extremely long. It stretches all the way, showing just how big it is. The area's wild. Yeah, those are Roma people.
That's it, that's right. It's the Roma community of Nantes. In this case, they're very used to it, really, really used to it. They're used to living in slums like those up there, just slums.
I mean, even from a social point of view, you know, it's unacceptable to let people live in these conditions.
Of course, of course.
The problem I have almost all the time is that I have to make decisions very quickly, with very little information. Like here, I don't know if I can go in or not. Honestly, I don't know what could happen. I suspect I'm not welcome, but at the same time, I wonder if maybe I could get an interview. You know, it's possible, and now I'm unsure. You must make these decisions based on the estimated danger level.
For me, it doesn't make me want to do it.
No, me neither. Afterwards, the thing is they have illegal activities inside. In my opinion, that's all there is. And so, that's also why they're very reluctant to show themselves on camera, etc. It's just not clean, you know.
That's true. I mean, as soon as you have a lawless area, you don't know what's going on. There could be anything inside, children, drugs, anything imaginable. Police aren't allowed in, and if they try, their cars get pelted with stones. In the end, what really happens there? And so, obviously, anyone who is an outsider to that place is not welcome. That's a lane just for carpooling, meaning there are thermal cameras. If there aren't at least 2 people in the car, you get fined. Ah, yes, there you go. Those are the new installations from the Nantes City Hall, the thermal cameras. Better to invest in that than in security, in Nantes. There, you can see it up there, but you see there's the barrier, there's always the barrier, and it's real, it's unsanitary.
Obviously, there are people...
Who live like in the city?
It's like a dump, but there are people who complain around.
There's nobody, there are no houses, there are just industries, there's the heating plant, there are the fishing huts, and there's nobody else. Technically, they're not bothering anyone, but at some point, do we tolerate this kind of thing? Then there's the ethical side. Do we tolerate this on our territory in the suburbs? Knowing that, on top of that, it's synonymous with trafficking, maybe illegal things, and what's more behind it, it's insecurity. And these are people who commit crimes, who steal, who do a lot of things, and every time it's acknowledged. That is, it's not something that, it's not a stereotype. That is, there are all the news articles we know and that we can show. They are implicated in a lot of stories.
Yeah, of course, I see.
They've locked everything down. It's like in the movie Banlieue 13, it's a bunker.
Yeah, that's true. It's locked down with a barrier all around.
It's a ghetto. Yeah, it's true that it's a ghetto. It's true that it's ghetto. It's get together. And here, this is the entrance to their camp.
You see...
There's a lookout, everything.
I saw, be careful because they're behind us. We can't go in there. You think you saw...
There was, look, you'll see again as you pass by. There is
A security guard?
lookout. There's a lookout at the entrance.
That's the entrance. Go ahead and slow down. Ah, yeah, indeed, I see. So that's the entrance to the ghetto, right?
That's right. It's the ghetto. The ghetto with several thousand people living in it with impunity. At the government's expense, nothing happens. Actually, it's filthy. There's nothing here, and all of this is in an industrial area. And these people are going to be rehoused. They're going to be rehoused. There's a development project for this area. They're all going to be rehoused. You can picture thousands living in unsanitary conditions who will be rehoused. I can't even imagine what that will be like. In this case, the consequences for local residents will be significant.
How long have they been here?
I've always known them. Oh yeah? Yeah, I've known them for a long time. There have been evictions in other slums, but after that they just find somewhere else to stay, so evicting them takes a long time. The process is extremely long, just like with squatters, for example, the process is extremely long. And actually, it only takes them a day to find a new place and then they can settle in again. That place is really the most important, you should know that. But there are a lot of shantytowns like that all around the Nantes metropolitan area. Yes, there are some around the ring road.
So they keep returning and City Hall no longer displays them, right?
They're postponing the relocation and squeezing them in again.
They squeeze together and
They push back more, right? Basically, they're unsure how to handle these people.
They don't know how to deport them, because they're required to rehouse them, they're required to rehouse. From that point on, it's complicated to care for the baby since nobody wants it.
And do you have to pay or what?
You need money, taxes of course.
Evict them, then use the money to rehouse them.
And then rehouse, what does that mean? It means they'll go squat somewhere else again. There have been several big fires that also started from that place. Actually, in the end, I remember almost the whole Mauve meadow burned down a couple of years ago. You could smell it as you walked down the little path. Maybe it could have worked for 2 minutes. Except at the end, when you saw the entrance and how they lived, the issue was their shacks and all. That was the problem.
Is that it's a trap? You go in and then to get out, there's only one exit. So if they surround you there, well, it's not an ideal setup.
No, but here...
It's especially with equipment and everything. No.
But you're done for.
I think it's better not to tempt fate in those situations.
And that? It didn't make me want to try it?
No, of course not. Or you really need to go with a pretty solid group, you know?
You last 2 minutes because you can't forget you're not at home, really, not at all here.
Melissa?
Hi, Vincent Lapierre. How are you? I'm good. You?
Good then, I didn't know. Are you from Nantes?
Yes, I'm from Nantes. I was born and raised there, though mostly in the countryside nearby. I lived in Lyon for 2 years, and actually that's where I started at Nemesis, but otherwise always in Nantes. I came back to Mer Racine a bit later.
So you know this city very well?
Yes, I know this city very well.
Yes, you've seen it change.
I've seen it change, unfortunately, not for the better.
Yes, that's what we've said all day.
Yes, I can imagine. That's basically life for people from Nantes.
It's the average life, I would say, indeed. The general idea is that things are getting worse, especially in terms of insecurity.
Exactly, that's true for women. I'm 28 now. I started going out at 18 when I began college at Michelet in northern Nantes. Back then, my best friend and I went out a lot, and looking back, I can't tell if we were just careless or if things really were better. Before, I think it was a bit of both, but we used to go out pretty easily, and I found it was much more relaxed. Actually, the situation from 10 years ago is kind of my reference point. As we grew older, 2021, I saw things get worse for me and my friends. I was really being harassed, called out to, hit on. I had people grab my butt on the tram and things like that. Well, yes, I remember that. I was even younger than that. I think I was in high school. Yes, a North African man, my father's age, pressed against me and grabbed my butt on the tram when I was about 15 or 16. I remember things like that. Then I saw as a young woman the assaults, harassment and so on intensify and happen more and more often, especially at Commerce. At the tram crossing over there, really, the intersection between line 1 and lines 2 and 3, that's where it's a bit much. I don't go there anymore. Actually, right now, I don't take public transportation anymore.
Don't go to Commerce anymore.
If I need to go to Commerce or downtown, I drive. I no longer use public transportation.
Do you see that? Honestly, Melissa, aren't you exaggerating?
I'm not exaggerating, that's just my experience as a young woman. Before Nemesis and politics, I wasn't interested or knowledgeable, and my family isn't particularly political. That's what people often say about us, that we're bourgeois, Catholic, far-right types, whatever. Not at all. My family isn't like that. For me, really, I joined Nemesis because of Nantes, because of the situation and those repeated assaults I experienced, which made me realize at some point there's a problem. When left-wing feminists discuss things like hair removal or parting with me, I think, hold on, I can't even go out safely. I worry about my little sister too. And actually, on the side, there's no one talking about this situation. Back then, during the increase in immigration, which had a strong impact, because I know that's not necessarily the case for everyone, but for me, my own experience is that all the assaults I've gone through in Nantes, even the microaggressions, people who harassed me or whatever, or everyday things, they were only men from immigrant backgrounds. It's always in the same places, by the same types of people, and at that time, no one talked about it, so no, I know that the assaults I experienced are real, and so are those of my friends. When many of us reach the same conclusion, it's clear there's a real problem.
All assaults are committed by people from immigrant backgrounds. For you, for me.
That's my case. Afterwards, I wasn't stabbed, I wasn't hit. But for example, once with some friends, it was just before I left for Lyon, actually, we had kind of celebrated my departure, etc. I was the only woman with only men, actually, and we got attacked just afterwards, actually, in the street after the Bar Le Royal. We were bar hopping when 2 North African men called out to one of my friends as we took a shortcut, but he didn't let it slide. He replied, "I'm just with my friends moving along. Why are you bothering us?" And the guys didn't like that someone answered them back. They lost it, called their friends and started showing up. We were chased and took refuge in the Royal Bar, and things got tense when the cops showed up. All that, not being able to get home safely when really we were just with friends in a bar, just hanging out for no reason. Okay, yeah, that's it. Those are the kinds of stories, actually, that
make you end up living a bit in fear?
And then, we know there are even more serious things that happen, women, who have... I also think about fathers, not just women. That was a few years ago, I believe. Near Nantes Island, a man with a wife and baby was killed outside his home while taking out the trash. Oh yes, an altercation, I think, and actually it ended badly. Oh yes.
Yes, I saw that go by.
Well, I think of stories like that.
A few weeks ago.
It was longer ago, a few years back. There were some things from then, maybe several, but it's confusing.
Actually, It's just that things like that happen so quickly, that's why.
So many news stories show people who've had it even worse than us. Even for me, it was enough at my level. And now, for safety, seeing what's happened and what I've experienced. Yeah, now public transportation is over for me. I take my car. Too bad, I much prefer struggling in traffic jams or finding parking or paying for a parking spot, rather than risk getting stabbed or being sexually assaulted by some guy.
So, that's real, what you're saying, that's reality.
Yes, and I think that in Nantes, overall, people admit there's insecurity. We also did some street interviews in Nantes with Nemesis. And I think the difference between people is about the cause. Actually, in general, people admit there's a problem that women are being assaulted. They admit it with more or less difficulty generally, but then it's more about where it comes from. Is it related to immigration? That's more the question.
They will highlight poverty. People on the left will say they're poor, they're not immigrants, they're poor. They don't want to acknowledge that, yes, they're poor immigrants.
Is that exactly it?
Do they see that?
I'm sorry, but when you go to the worst places like commerce, you just have to look to see where the problem is. It's obvious, it's factual, it's right in front of us.
And what made you at some point have the courage to say that, to get involved with Nemesis? And why not others?
I realized if I don't do it, no one else will. I think it's too serious, but not extreme. It's just common sense. People may call us fascists or neo-Nazis, but that's not true. What we say is normal and obvious, and everyone should say it. What we're saying today, to me, is just the basics, so why shouldn't I have the right to say it? I'm within my rights, and actually I care a lot about my safety. I love Nantes. Not for what it is now, but because it's a beautiful city I enjoy living in. It's pretty, we have lovely squares, beautiful monuments, it's pleasant, the weather is nice here. So I think it's really a waste, and that's what breaks my heart. And I have a little sister whom I love more than anything, and I want her to be protected. I would like to have children who live in a completely normal country too. That's what inspired me. I told myself I may not know if we'll win or what will happen, but I will have tried and done my part, which is why I got involved.
Thanks, Melissa, you're welcome.
With pleasure.
Look at that street violinist over there. Well, yeah. I just happened to run into a young man who used to be an identitarian activist, it has to be said, but he isn't anymore.
I hung up my boots. Why? Well, partly because maybe I didn't fit in with GZ as much anymore, you could say, in the activist side of GZ, which became a bit less militant, meaning not so young anymore. C got a bit older. So I kind of left that behind, and as a result, I'm not an activist anymore. Also, among other reasons, because I had to deal with the Antifas several times. For example, once when we were putting up posters for Mrs. Sheffen regarding the legislative elections in Cotinot. There were about 10 of us putting up posters, and around 30 people came who attacked us, It was Sheffen who threw street furniture. Yes, they detached trash cans and threw them at people. So they attacked the 2 cars of the people who came to put up posters with us. Okay, so there were broken mirrors, broken windows, etc. The judgment is still ongoing. Injured, yes, there were injured people. Cecile got hit on the head with rocks, and other people also got hit with rocks. And the judgment right now, as far as I remember, there was a first judgment. We came out, let's say, victorious from that, and they appealed. Some time ago we received a letter, and it had to be retried in October or November. But I don't have the result because they didn't announce it inside to avoid any tensions. Because I was there at the first judgment, the room was filled with Antifas, all wearing masks, etc. They were waiting outside, so the firefighters led us out through an external route to avoid any issues.
So there are a lot of Antifas in Nantes?
That's it, yes. And yes, there are outsiders. If you go to the university campuses during the week, you can do whatever you want. Even now, someone might recognize you, so you really need to be careful. It's almost certain.
So it's tough in Nantes, honestly, when you're a bit right-wing? Oh yes, when you want to get involved, it's really tough.
Yes, whether it's at the university, the poor guys from university who are taking exams, right-wing, depending on what people call it.
He's considered far-right.
According to Raphael Arnold, everyone is far-right, so yeah, exactly. And it's always the poor who get screwed. I wasn't in uni, but I have friends who were, and it's really almost daily.
So these are the Christmas decorations that were put up by the city hall.
Be careful, these aren't Christmas decorations, they're for the winter journey. Alright, okay, so there's no more Christmas, it's just the winter journey of Nantes that we're highlighting. With these lights, I want to say they're, all one color.
Yes, it's separate from traditional Christmas.
It is indeed separate from the Christmas we might know. You can see a little bit there at the end of the street, there's a goat completely lit up. And here we have another display, also in this street. We're totally disconnected from our Christmas imagery. We just put up lights to look festive. And there's the goat too.
It's true, it's not very beautiful. We've seen better.
Honestly, I'm not a fan, and I doubt anyone is. There was a social media uproar when they tried to put them up years ago, but they still put them back. And honestly, it's ugly, it's crazy. Movie after movie.
Not you, the far-right journalist.
Are you with your family?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
The family?
It's not working anymore. It's not working anymore. It's really not working anymore.
We're at home too, there's a problem.
But it's fine, yes, it's a problem. For someone hysterical shouting in the street.
We're going to make your children grow old. Take it.
Come.
Fine, go ahead. There's no use arguing with this person.
And hide your kids?
Dialogue is impossible. She's yelling over there. Let her. It's fine. So what happened then, actually? Because I was interviewing and I didn't see...
So were you with Guillaume then, but there was a couple with 2 or 3 young children who walked by? They screamed, but we could still hear them in the street for a bit, saying things like, "Oh, the far right in our streets, how horrible, I'm hiding my children," all very hysterically. At first I found it ironic and exaggerated, but then I turned and she saw me saying, "Oh, and it's Nemesis too, how awful." Really crazy and screaming with all her strength, you know? But also a bit of a bourgeois mother, well-groomed and all that, I don't know. You're with your family in Nantes, relax, everything will be fine. Finally, I replied after an old man told me, "Leave her, she's a bobo from Nantes and worthless."
It didn't really catch on. She looks far right, but whatever. Honestly, it doesn't bother me anymore, though it's ridiculous. People around are skeptical.
See that?
The mayonnaise isn't catching on.
It's just a circus for them. And even that, it makes me think about what we were saying with the girls. Friday night, we attended a Leffy's conference with Raphael Arnault and felt proud. But we realized it's pointless to go now, since 30 painted clans will listen to them. What they're saying is so out of this world that we're not even going to give them publicity because no one listens to them. People think it's ridiculous, it doesn't make any sense. I think we discussed this with your friend. They're losing power, which is making them increasingly violent and aggressive. It's that they can feel that actually no one listens to them anymore because it's ridiculous. And then the level of the so-called attacks, after that.
We heard 2 people say it stinks, smells like crap.
It smells bad, sure, if you want.
But it's nothing, right? Oh yeah.
It's nothing. Uninteresting, no argument or substance. They just have nothing to say, so that's their problem.
Look at that, how beautiful it is. Wow, magnificent.
And by the way, for the record, the nuns from this church left the city because of insecurity. Really? Yes, the nuns from Sainte-Croix. In 2023, we made signs for Nemesis. I remember they left the city due to insecurity. Even though it's a beautiful, gorgeous church, that was the reason they left.
That's incredible.
Yes, anyway, it's a magnificent wonder, shining in the sunlight, it's amazing.
So amazing, but yes, it's the contrast. The light, exactly, yes. Look at the modernity in the shadows, while the classicism is in the light. What a beautiful church, what a magnificent temple. Wow, I'm really dazzled by this church. Are there notable personalities in Nantes?
Yes, of course. We recently talked about Pierre-Alain Cotinot, the extremely well-known friend from La France Insoumise, but from La France Insoumise we collect them. That is to say, there's also the Nantes deputy Andy Carbat, who is a very well-known drug addict. He was caught red-handed in the Paris metro buying, I think it was cocaine, from a minor in the Paris metro, and you can see him. He once gave an interview to France 3 right before entering rehab. We saw the guy and we thought, but he's a French deputy, this man. And actually he was really devastated by drugs, devastated by all of that. And really those people in Nantes elected this deputy from La France Insoumise. And in his case, he's still in office. There's no problem, he's still there, he's still in office, and he's still doing his thing. So that's a double standard.
It's important to say it because he acts like a father figure, like the voice of virtue on the left, while in reality, they don't have the means.
Of course, virtue is always a somewhat non-existent value. It's always the same thing. That is, we end up with a completely notorious jerk. Violence ends up being fully legitimized against people with fantasies, such as Nazis. And then we also end up with a drug-addicted member of parliament who buys drugs from a minor, obviously with taxpayers' money. I think the picture of the Nantes left is pretty well painted.
So, Melissa, if we could sum it up, what would you say about all this?
I would say it's really a shame just for an ideology, let's say. In short, we've put people's safety at risk in Nantes and other French cities, but that's just how things are in Nantes. We had a very beautiful city that in a very short time was really ruined. Sailly, which has become much less beautiful and much less safe for us, much less pleasant to live in for us. We hope things will change at the municipal in 2026. Personally, I don't really believe in it. We don't really know what it has led to, but we hope we can save what is left to save in any case.
So, does this mean the people of Nantes want and agree with this change?
Nantes is complicated because, as I said, there's a sense of denial. People know there's a security problem and something is seriously wrong in Nantes. Does it go as far as changing things politically? I don't know. Actually, they're in a kind of denial, you know? During street interviews in Grelins, we spoke to a young family and asked if everything was fine in Nantes and if they felt safe. They said yes, no problem or issue. So we asked them, is there really no problem in your daily routine? They said we don't go out at 10 or 11 p.m., visit the shopping area or take the tram. Actually, people think they're safe because they've also adapted to a lot of daily restrictions. And so that's what makes it very hard to say what will happen in the municipal elections because people are aware of it, but at the same time, not enough. I feel like, well, I don't know if what I mean is...
We don't go out anymore, so everything is fine. Yes.
That's it. I'm not the presenter, so it's fine. So I'm a little worried about the municipal elections, but I really sincerely hope that things will change. Because as I was saying, I love my city. It's a really beautiful city, and it deserves much better than this, Myself, those who are center-right were attacked by Antifas.
They are at the level of...
It's at a first grade level.
We joke about pee and poop. Their business was completely vandalized by the Antifas.
This shows that claims about abandoned neighborhoods are false, as huge amounts of money are being spent in the suburbs.